Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3, he's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Sports Talk with RJ. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio, and the Lamar Jackson saga continues. On Monday, he tweeted that he said on March 2nd that he wanted out of Baltimore. That was 5 days before he signed. The Ravens placed slapped the franchise tag on Lamar Jackson. So right now he wants out of Baltimore. And I think the big question to start is, what is the difference between this and him getting the franchise tag in at the beginning of the month? And I think the difference is now it's public. Now it's public that Lamar Jackson wants out of Baltimore. It's public that he wants out. So teams now know, okay, it's not just, him and the Ravens can't get a deal done. It's he doesn't want to play for the Ravens now. So I think things definitely changed on Monday. And I thought Lamar's days as a Raven were done anyways. I thought he was gone. I didn't think he was going to be a Raven anyway, though his future with the Ravens was over. But now this proves it. This proves that he is not going to be a Raven. This definitely proves it. And the big question for Justin, what for you is this different from what happened on March 7th when he signed the franchise tag? When the Ravens slapped the franchise tag on him?
No, not really, because I think like I was like you, kind of. And you're thinking of, I think he was done with Baltimore. I think he was kind of, didn't like what they were offering him. It kind of felt like both sides here were, and it seemed like they really haven't agreed on a contract, obviously. And I don't think he's happy about what the offers they gave him. So it just seems like the relationship's been broken. And so when I saw the news about that on March, that he asked for their trade on March 2nd, I wasn't really that surprised because I kind of figured too, he's probably played his last snap in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely played his last snap in Baltimore. I think he's just fed up. And he even tweeted today. I mean, you saw his tweet. I think it was a little bit selfish, not saying he wanted to be 100% to play in that playoff game. I think it's over. I think the whole relationship between him and the Ravens is over. And let's be honest, I think the Ravens completely dropped the ball here. I think they completely dropped the ball. I think they had the best quarterback in their franchise's history, and they chose not to pay him. And now the Ravens look like they're going to have to go out and get a quarterback because it's pretty obvious that Lamar's days with the Ravens are coming to an end.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about it. The differences that when Lamar's been on the field and when he's been off, and how the offense has really struggled without him. Yeah, they made definitely a mistake there, and Lamar hasn't been happy with the way that they've offered him. The amount of money that it sounds like the guaranteed is money that they've offered Lamar. He doesn't sound like he's been too happy with it. So yeah, it's definitely something where yeah, Baltimore really messed up, and yeah, again we saw the quarterbacks they got behind Lamar, and it's not good, and they're gonna have to, because yeah, again more than likely Lamar's not gonna be on the team, or he's not playing if they can't find a trade partner. So they're gonna have to find someone that quarterback, because the other guys that they got behind them are not the are not the right guys right now.
No, absolutely not. And it's a real issue for the Ravens. But now the question is with Lamar, teams have been able to offer him. The team's been able to offer him a contract for the last 2 weeks. Now the thing is with the non-exclusive franchise tag, a team can offer him a contract, and if the Ravens don't match it, they would get the player, but they'd have to give up 2 first-round picks. But he really has not gotten an offer sheet from any team. You've heard from the Falcons that there's no interest from the Falcons. You've heard from the Commanders that there's no interest with the Commanders. What is I think the question really is what's the biggest reason for why there is lack of interest for Lamar Jackson? And in my opinion, yes, the injury history of the last 2 years is big. He's missed 11 games over the last 2 seasons. But I think the biggest reason is the rumors that he wants a fully guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson. And I think that the owners don't want to do that. They do not want to give another quarterback a fully guaranteed deal, because then you're going to get a league where players are going to start to run the league. Players are going to start, and they don't. The NFL owners don't want it to become the NBA where players start running the league. So I think that's the biggest reasons. Because for example, say you give Lamar fully guaranteed money, Joe Burrow is definitely getting fully guaranteed money, and then Jalen Hurts is getting fully guaranteed money, because those are better quarterbacks than Lamar Jackson. So those guys are definitely getting fully guaranteed money, and then you could very easily see Justin Herbert getting fully guaranteed money. So I think that's the biggest reason for me why there has not been a ton of interest, is the fully guaranteed money. But Justin, what do you think? Why do you think there hasn't been a ton of interest?
Yeah, I'm with you too. And then we talked about it with Watson a couple weeks ago. Again, him getting the fully guaranteed contract with everything that happened to him that last offseason reset the market in a bad way. Cleveland, did not make a lot of owners happy, because I'm with you. They don't want to fully guarantee these quarterbacks. And, it's the owners and the front offices that want to kind of reset this market and want to kind of, have some leverage. And yeah, you give Lamar the fully guaranteed contract, every quarterback's going to want it now. And yeah, that's going to create a big problem. That's, I think, part of, yeah, and it would turn in the NBA. So I'm right there with you. I just don't think they want to, not too many teams are going, want to hand him a guaranteed contract. And yeah, with that injury concerns too, he missed a couple games each season. It's tough. So yeah, I'm with you. It's the guaranteed contracts that I think are kind of really hampering this thing right now for Lamar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, it really it comes down to 2 things: the injuries and a fully guaranteed deal. And the injuries are definitely the second reason why he's not getting. There isn't a ton of interest. But I think obviously the fully guaranteed contract he wants, I think that's the biggest.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, the owners want to reset this market. They don't want, as you mentioned, they don't want the players to run this thing. That it's a problem, I think, in the NBA a little bit right now with the players, kind of running the whole league and all that, and that's different conversation for a different day. But yeah, the owners don't want it. They want to have some control. The front office wants some control, and it's just for Lamar. Yeah, again, he's better than Watson. I could see why he wants a fully guaranteed contract, but yeah, there's not many suitors out there there's right now not many suitors that want to hand him the fully guaranteed contract, and I completely see why.
Oh, absolutely. So now the big question is, what's Lamar Jackson doing in Week 1 next year? There's pretty much three possible things he'll be doing. Number one, he's holding out. He's not, nobody signs him, and he's holding out. Number 2, he's starting for another team, and number 3, him and the Ravens figure things out, and he's starting for the Ravens. I think it's the second one. I think he's starting for another team. Because I think, as we said earlier, I think the relationship is done between him and the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's number 2. I think at some point they will find a trade. Somebody will give Lamar maybe close to what he's offered. Because I think at some point, if he really doesn't want to play with the Ravens, but if another team gives him something maybe close to what he wants, he'd take it. So I'm with you. I think he's done in Baltimore. I think the Ravens will find a way to trade him, and another team would give Lamar what he wants or close enough to what he wants and kind of play for him.
Yep. And the last question is, what team do you think Lamar will be playing with next year? And I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. I think it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts because the Colts, they can give the. I know there's number one. Realistically, it seems like it's the only team that has interest right now, and the Colts can give them a really, really good package. The Colts could give the Colts could give the Ravens the number 4 pick, and then if you're a team like the Colts and you looked at Will Levis's pro day, which was up and down, you looked at Anthony Richardson's pro day. When you look at Anthony Richardson, who's a project, you're not going to get. It looks like you're not going to get Stroud or Young, the 2 sure things in this draft. Do you want something that you're hoping is a franchise quarterback, or do you want something that you know is a franchise quarterback after having? I think 7 different starting quarterbacks start in week 1. 7 different starters in week 1. It's been quarterback roulette for the Colts. I mean, ever since Andrew Luck retired, with Jacoby Brissett, with Phillip Rivers, with Carson Wentz, and then last year with Matt Ryan. It's been quarterback roulette. Lamar gives you stability at the position, so that's why I think he is starting for the Indianapolis Colts in week 1. Justin, what team do you think he's starting for in week 1?
Yeah, I agree. Jim Irsay, I think, said too that, he's not afraid to kind of spend the money. Yeah, I think they're one of a few teams that have the compensation that could give something up for the, for Lamar. So I think, the Colts make the most sense, especially in that division where, again, Jacksonville looks like they're starting to get some momentum. The Titans, they're a good team. Mike Vrabel, as long as he's there coaching, Titans will be competitive, but it's not a great roster. The Texans are in full rebuild mode. Second place is up for grabs. Even first, and they can even get first place. You had a guy like Lamar Jackson. So absolutely. I think the Colts make the most sense. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's been quarterback roulette. They just haven't found the answer. And yeah, I'm with you. I know I see the upside with Levis and Richardson, but yeah, do you really want to take that risk yet again and not have it pan out? And, where you could be going up against Stroud and Bryce Young in your own division in a couple of years, maybe they do turn out to be the next great quarterback, So, yeah, I think for the Colts, I think that makes the most sense. They make the most sense right now.
And if they get Lamar, they're a top team in the they're not a top team in the AFC, but they're competing with the Jaguars for that division. I mean, you put Lamar with Jonathan Taylor, with Michael Pittman. I know the Colts roster isn't as good because Ndakwe is a free agent. Stephon Gilmore went to the Cowboys. Okereke, he went to the Giants. So their roster isn't as good as it's been the last couple of years, but still the roster is good enough to get to the playoffs. They're good, definitely good enough to compete in the South and be a wild card team if they have Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, they absolutely would. I think they'd be right there. The AFC is so tough right now. There's so many great teams in that league and so many great quarterbacks that it may be tough to kind of break through. But yeah, I think with Lamar Jackson in Indianapolis, they have a chance to do that. So yeah, absolutely. I think the Colts could be right there. Kind of trying to battle with the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the other top teams in that league to to try and make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson. But there were some rumors. Meek Mill texted Bob Kraft this week saying that Lamar wanted to be a Patriot. And if you're the Patriots, Mac Jones has been up and down his first 2 years in the league. Do you take that chance? Trade for Lamar Jackson? It's just like what I was saying with the Colts. With Mac Jones still in year 3, you're hoping he's your guy going forward. But with Lamar, you would know he's your guy going forward. And if you're the Patriots, you got the 14th pick in Mac Jones. Do you just trade the 14th pick in Mac Jones for Lamar Jackson to get yourself that guy that can get you back to competing for Super Bowls, to get you back to competing for championships like you were with Tom Brady?
It's tough, and I think because I know that was brought up, a couple weeks ago. There, WI was kind of bringing that up. Would you trade Mac Jones to go get Lamar Jackson? And I've kind of been back and forth on the last couple weeks. I kind of want to see. I want to kind of see what Mac Jones could do. You just brought back Bill O'Brien. I know the offseason hasn't been great for the Patriots. Because I think Mac Jones could be a really good quarterback. And again, I just don't see the Patriots ever paying Lamar Jackson what he wants. Like, you didn't pay Tom Brady for all those years. Now you're going to give it to Lamar Jackson. Like, that's where I kind of said, no, I would stick with Matt. I kind of feel like you're kind of disrespecting Brady. Like, yeah, we'll pay Lamar, but yeah, all those years, 20 years you spent with us, yeah, we're going to kind of penny pinch you. So I could see why Patriot fan want him. I would love to have him, but I want to see what Mac has. I kind of feel like it'll be a little bit disrespectful to Brady. I don't know. That was kind of my take on it.
I think you gotta go get him. If he wants to be here, go get him. He's clearly an upgrade over Mac Jones. I know Mac Jones has a chance to be a franchise quarterback, but Lamar Jackson is clearly an upgrade over Mac Jones. So listen, if you're on the Patriots, give up that first round pick, trade Mac Jones, and get Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson puts you in that conversation in the AFC East. He puts you in and the Patriots have a pretty good defense. I know their skill guys aren't great, but they got a pretty good defense. He puts you in that conversation for the next 5 to 10 years in the AFC. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm definitely trading. If he wants to play for my team, if he wants to play for the Pats, I'm definitely trading for him.
Yeah, no, he's a top talent. He's one of the better quarterbacks, in the league right now. Yeah, like I just don't see the Patriots ever paying his contract, what he wants. I just don't. That's the big issue. I don't see Bill paying what Lamar Jackson wants. And I don't think that's why. Yeah, I would do, it would be great for the Patriots to do it. Yes, it would put us right back in the playoff contention. I just do not see the idea of Bill Belichick paying that contract. I just don't. And I think that's why now, because it doesn't sound like we're on a DeAndre Hopkins. And I think that's why, because he's due to get paid. And I don't think Bill wants to give, wide receiver that type of money, for what Hopkins is probably be looking for. So, yeah, I don't see the Patriots ever paying what Lamar wants. That's the issue.
Yeah, and I think that's sad. I think it's sad they don't want to go out and spend for even DeAndre Hopkins. They don't want to try to, even if they want Mac Jones to be their guy, why wouldn't they help him out and trade for DeAndre Hopkins? And then they wouldn't want to upgrade with Lamar Jackson. I just don't get that. I don't get that at all. I don't get how this team has been doing business the last couple of years. I just don't get it at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's what I said a couple weeks ago. All my other sport teams are doing well right now, so I'm kind of the Patriots. I'll worry about the Patriots during the summer.
Okay.
UConn's doing well. Yankees about to start. Rangers, Kings gonna be starting the playoffs soon. So, all my other teams are doing well. So I just, I'll be I'll worry about the Patriots a couple months.
Yeah, but we're going to continue to talk about them for a little bit because of Bill Belichick's comments on Monday when Mike Reese asked him, why should the fans be optimistic about the season? And he gave a very vague response to it, saying, the last 25 years. I didn't like that response, and neither did former players, especially Teddy Bruschi. He was not happy at all about that response because back when he played, the past didn't matter. It's what have you done for me lately? I think I think Bill Belichick is sending a bad message to this team that talking about the past. That's not the message that was sent back when they were winning championships. I don't like the direction of this team. I can't stand the comments. I mean, if you're asked that question, why should they be optimistic? Talk about how good your defense is. Talk about the addition of Bill O'Brien and how he's going to make that offense better. Or talk about, the additions of Juju and Gesicki and how they're going to make the offense better. Don't just say, the last 25 years. I think that rubbed the fan base the wrong way, and I think it's rubbing former players the wrong way, and I think this organization is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it did kind of rub me a little bit the wrong way. Yeah, because it's again, Patriots are so beloved up there. It's everybody wants to, everyone wants this team to be back as a contender. They really have not been. I know they made the playoffs, in 2021 and, absolutely got blasted by the Bills. But yeah, Bills with his comments and kind of, be optimistic and all that. It's like, okay, what moves, I never understood the Juju one. Like, why don't you just pay Jacoby Myers? You got the same thing as Juju. I think Myers is better than Smith-Schuster. Right. And I think Mac Jones has a better chemistry with Myers.
That's a good point. Better chemistry. I think Juju's a better player, but Mac Jones has a better chemistry, and Juju isn't that much better for you to get rid of Myers to sign Juju.
Yeah, that's that signing made no sense. So yeah, I'm kind of at the point where, okay, Bill, I trust kind of what you're I still trust them, but it's like at some point, yeah, you do have to kind of show me something. I was kind of hoping Hopkins, but part of me kind of felt like that was never going to happen. The Lamar thing, like, yeah, Meek Mill says, yeah, Lamar wants to be here. They're not trading for, they're not going to trade for Lamar. So my thing is, I'm just, like you got to bring in a big piece here. Who is that going to be? Because, yeah, you do need a number one skilled wide receiver. Again, we'll kind of see the draft and kind of, do they maybe trade around, because they have done that in the past. Bill's kind of famous for it, but we'll see. It's definitely, the fan base there's definitely a lot of frustration there.
There's got to be. And yes, this offseason was a little bit better than last offseason, but that's not saying much, because last offseason all they did was get Devontae Parker. That was it. They haven't. I thought they had to make two to be contenders in the AFC East and in the AFC. I think they had to make one or two moves this offseason. Go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, which it doesn't look like they're going to do, or sign Orlando Brown. And they didn't do any of that. They needed to upgrade at the receiver position, and they need to upgrade it at tackle to help Mac Jones. If Mac Jones is going to be your guy, to have a guy who can protect his blind side, because Trent Brown clearly didn't do that last year. So they didn't do either of these things. So right now, looking at it, say Rodgers goes to the Jets and Rodgers plays with the Jets, I think this team is clearly the worst team in the AFC East.
Right now, yeah, when this Rodgers deal comes done, I think we probably are. The way things I think the way things are constructed in this division, I kind of feel like, it's going to be tough to get out of the basement. Yeah, I think, we could beat the Jets, but it's not going to be easy. I think, right now, we're probably like a 7, maybe 8-win team, maybe if we get lucky. But
Vegas's line is 7.5, and I'm taking the under.
That's close. I think around 7 or 8. We'll see what happens with the draft and all that. What they do. I hope they go out and get they got Jerry Jeudy type, but we'll see. I just I like Matt. This we talked about. I like Mac. I think he can be our franchise quarterback. But they just haven't done much to help him out. And at some point, Max, you saw the outburst from him last year. Like, he's a guy that I don't think is totally happy with things going on. I think it's great that Bill O'Brien's coming back, but does it, but how much more talent, we got to put more talent around him to help him out on the field. Because again, Bill O'Brien can only do so much, and that's kind of the issue. So, I wanted Orlando Brown too. That wasn't perfect. Because, I can't stand Trent Brown. He was not, he's a penalty machine, and, he's very frustrating at times. So, it would have been nice to get another tackle. But this team's got to try to do something to get out of the basement, or try to avoid being in the basement in the AFC East.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, they definitely have to. They have to have a really good draft for this team to avoid being in the basement in the AFC East. But we got one of our teams in the Final Four. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEG's Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
Alrighty, so for the first time in 9 years, we got the Uconn Huskies in the Final Four. They'll be the second game on Saturday night. They'll face the Miami Hurricanes, who have been playing really well too. They've scored over 80 points in their last 3 games. This should be a really good game between these two teams. This is probably going to be UConn's toughest game in this tournament. I think this is going to be their toughest game. So the big thing is the 3 keys. The 3 things they need to do to win this game, the 3 biggest keys, the 3 biggest things they need to do to win this game. And Justin, I'll start with you. What are the 3 biggest things UConn has to do to advance to the Monday night final?
Number 1 for me is get the ball down low to Sanogo and Klingon. Now, Jim Larinaga is a great coach, and again, they don't have the size down low. They have Omar, the cheer, I can't, but big guy down low, 6'7", Arkansas State transfer. He's been
no Chad Omier,
really good. Omier, yeah, no Chad Omier. But yeah, so I feel like that Jim Larinaga is going to play this like kind of how Marquette did in the Big East semifinals. They're going to want you kind of shoot, and they're going to try to let them kind of shoot from beyond the perimeter if they're not hitting their shots. And because that kind of minimized Sanogo and Klingon a lot in that semifinal against Marquette. So for UConn, just force it down low. They don't have the side, and behind Omier, they don't have much. They're not a very deep team whatsoever. So get no Chad Omier, in some foul trouble, and you'll be in really good shape. I feel like in that game. Number 2 for UConn is the defense. The defense has been playing well. But the thing is, Miami loves to attack the basket and they do a heck of a job getting the free throw line and making them. That's kind of how they came back and beat Texas. They were 28 for 32 on Sunday. They're 12th in the country in their free throw, percentage wise. So they get to the line, they hit their shots, and their man-to-man defense, can't have any dumb fouls. I hope Jackson's on Jordan Miller, but then the thing is who you put Carabin on. So, it's going to be interesting how Hurley kind of matches up here defensively, because they got some really good guard play. The Hurricanes do with Long, Pack. Jordan Miller's been playing outstanding. And, number 3 for me is it's late game execution. Miami's played in a couple of close games this tournament. They've come back in a couple of games. And again, UConn's blown out every single team.
And we saw what happened the last time they were in a close game at Madison Square Garden. Hurley did not call a timeout when he definitely should have.
Yeah, he definitely should have. And again, that's a little bit worried because, again, this Miami team knows how to win a close game. They've done it a couple times this tournament. UConn hasn't played in one in a while, and yeah, sometimes I think Hurley in a tight spot tends to panic a bit. And, and that's kind of the issue is kind of late in this game. Hawkins has got to hit a shot. Sanogo's got to, hit a shot. This Miami team they've been battle tested. They can't, they were down 10 or 11 against Drake in the final 5 minutes. I outscored them like 16-2 to finish that game. Like this team knows how to close out games. This team doesn't go away. I think this is going to be a close game. I just think it is. And you're going to have to find a way to win it late. And the late game execution would be huge because Miami's got a bunch of guys that know how to do it. And for us, at times late in games, we just haven't hit that big shot. Why Miami, they don't miss. They have not missed this tournament. They hit every shot when they need it. And that's the problem. I just feel like this Miami team's not going to go away. You're going to have to go find a way to win this thing close. And I don't have a ton of confidence in it, but I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think my keys is first, Hawkins has to stay hot. He was great against Arkansas. He got to a little bit of a slow start against Gonzaga, but he was red hot in the second half. Hawkins has got to stay hot. And I said it before the tournament. If Hawkins and Sanogo are hot, UConn's not going to get beat. So, and that leads me to my second key. Keep feeding Sanogo. And this is a huge Sanogo game because I don't think they're going to be able to cover Sanogo. I think Sanogo's going to have a big game. The worst game he had was It was against Gonzaga, but even though he almost had a triple double, he was able to pass the ball out of double teams, which I really, really liked. He was able to do. But I think in this game, he's going to have a big game scoring. I think he's going to score over 20 points. I think if they feed him a lot, they're going to be in good shape. And then I know this is easier said than done. Contain Miller, Pack, and Wong. They've been in the last 3 games. They've all scored over double digits, and as a result of that, Miami's averaged 87 points in their last 3 wins against some good teams, against Indiana, against Houston, against Texas. Those are 3 really good teams. They've averaged over 80 points a game against. So I think they got to contain those 3 players. And if they do that, if they do all those things, there is no doubt in my mind that they're going to be playing the finals on Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the Hawkins one. Yeah, Hawkins has got to stay hot. He's been good. Again, I liked how Saturday night, as you mentioned, he got out to Slusar. I loved how he attacked the basket. That's what he's got to keep doing. Just attack the basket, get fouled, finish layups. I like how he's doing that because that gives him a different element. That's huge. Yeah, the Sonogo one, he's been really good. Yeah, the passing wise, he was great Saturday night. And again, that's something too with Jackson. If they kind of play like Timmy did on Saturday night against Jackson, Jackson's got to continue to try to find an open spot where Sonogo could find him for an easy dunk. That will be a layup and dunk every single time. That's gonna be huge. I don't know. It'll be interesting how Larinaga plays that one. And then containing Wong, Pack, and Miller. That's huge. This team, they carved up Houston's defense like nobody really has all year. And that Houston defense is unbelievable. They did whatever they wanted. They hit a shot whenever they had to. Again, they just score in so many different ways. They only hit 2 threes on Sunday, but they got to the line. They got to the rim. And again, on Friday night against Houston, they hit 11 threes. They shot 44%. So, this team could score from anywhere. And, those 3 of just, trying to contain them will be huge because they don't have much depth at all.
No, I've seen their bench points. They're like averaging like 5 points a game. They're not averaging much points a game off the bench. So, they could contain those guys and Hawkins and Sonogo play well. There's no way UConn's not playing Monday.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. If they continue to play like the way they're doing, Sonogo and Hawkins, just play well. One other guy hopefully steps up, makes some shots for him. It'd be very hard pressed not to see him on Monday night, and it'd be a long waited of revenge for UConn fans against Jim Larinaga there and what he did George Mason to that 06 UConn team.
I know they haven't played in the tournament. Have they ever played Larinaga since that game?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
I don't know. I think actually a couple Charleston Classic 2018. I think the 3rd place game. I think 18 or 17.
Yeah, I'm assuming Miami won that game.
No, actually UConn beat them by like 20, I believe.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
They blew them out. Yeah, actually, I think it was 18. It was 18 or 19. It was a couple years ago.
Must have been 19 because 18 they was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I think it was 19.
The Ollie days, they weren't beating a team. They weren't beating a Jim Larinaga coach team with Ollie's play with Ollie coach, especially in the late years. I know that for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, there have been no shots. So yeah, I believe it was 19 they got him. Was they played down there Charleston Classic because that was like the first weekend. So it had to because that was Bogue Knight's first weekend coming off the suspension. So yeah, it was they played Miami that week. Yeah, so it definitely is 19. They had them.
Yep. And now going back to 2019. In 2019, the summer of 2019, UConn joined the Big East. And the big question is has this move helped turn this program around? And I think it has made all the difference for this program. I think it's the reason why they're here. It's the reason why they were able to get guys like Jordan Hawkins, Adamas Sonogo. They were able to recruit a guy like Klingon to stay home and play here. Because Klingon, let me tell you, they're in the Big East. He ain't staying home and playing for UConn. That's for sure. They're able to get guys like Andre Jackson. They're able to get transfers like Aline and Calcaterra. If you look at this roster, not one single player was on this roster when they were in the American Conference. So I think the Big East made all the difference for Dan Hurley and this team to turn this program around. And now UConn is back where they belong in a Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely helped the brand that they're back in the Big East. Again, part of it was, I think after Ollie kind of won the national championship, things kind of thought it was going to be, everything was to be easy to him. And he kind of not grind on the recruiting trail, which again, was a big mistake, as you could tell from some of those later years.
And there's a reason I think that's another reason why I think him and Calhoun don't talk, because there was no way Calhoun wouldn't grind in recruiting.
Yeah. Calhoun was big on that. Calhoun was, unbelievable at identifying his guys, and Hurley and the staff have, with all the transfers that they've been able to pull this year with Hawkins. Again, Hurley's one of the best recruiters in the entire country. He's got Kiami Young and Luke Murray, both two very young assistants who both could be very soon head coaches that have done a terrific job as well in the recruiting trail, which has obviously helped. So yeah, it's really helped big time. I think it's helped it's definitely helped because Hurley's really grinds on the trail, and it's helped the fan base too out that, yeah, we've gone back to this point. It's so much better to play Nova and Providence. Again, St. John's now is going to be good again. We hope Georgetown very soon is going to be back to having some relevance. Like, it's great to play those teams instead of going on a Sunday afternoon, on Super Bowl Sunday playing Tulane. Like, there's just not, there's no excitement for that. So yeah, it's great. It just helps the entire brand of UConn. And yeah, UConn's always been so reliant on that New York, New Jersey border, pipeline. And you could look at the other Big East teams that have left: Syracuse, Pitt, Louisville, Notre Dame. They can't get the New York kids anymore. They just can't.
And it's outside of Pitt. It's not been and Pitt was struggling too, but when they left the Big East, it's not been the same for any of those teams. Syracuse has not been the same. Louisville, they're a disaster. They're terrible. And Notre Dame, they were in the bottom of the ACC too. It's just not been the same since they left the Big East.
No, it hasn't. It's just they all their basketball roots they trade in for the football money. I understand it, but sometimes it's not the. It's been tough. Andre Jackson was from Albany. Kind of everyone thought, Syracuse lean ended up coming to UConn. That's, those guys don't want to play a big ACC tournament in Greensboro. They want to play at the Garden. It's been huge, and I think that's also helped UConn on the trail as well. And yeah, it's been awesome. Keeping Klingon home. It's been awesome because he's even said it before. He was a Michigan fan growing up. He could very easily be, playing out there in Ann Arbor.
Michigan basketball fan.
Yeah, he was a Michigan basketball.
Wow,
fan.
Yeah, and they were good when he was growing up. They got to 2 national championship games. I don't blame him. And UConn was falling apart.
Yeah, so yeah, he very easily could be there if UConn's not back in the Big East, or not even, if they're not at the level that they are right now. So yeah, it's testament to, again, I've been hard on Hurley, but it's been a testament to his hard work. And and I actually heard a story this week about Hurley. His first day after the press conference of his first day here, he went to Calhoun's office and he was kind of talking down, like, man, I didn't know how big of a project this was, and just very disappointed. Kind of didn't think it would be this much of a challenge. Calhoun kind of told him, "You're a big baby," that leaving some words out, and kind of told him, "This is UConn, and you better go win."
Oh yeah, and when you're hearing that from Calhoun, you better get to work.
Oh yeah, and he did. So testament to him. I've been hard on him at times, but he's done a great job with the roster that I didn't think was really that great coming in. But he's done a great job finding his guys, finding the right fit for his system, and it's worked perfectly. And that's why with the portal, the class he's got coming in, again, this Joe Lunardi already did a bracketology for next year. He has this as the number 1 overall seed. I don't like the look of it at the moment. It's way too early for that. But again, it's right now. It's only get better, and the conference is getting better. So yeah, it's been awesome to see UConn back where they belong.
Absolutely. So we got to get to the first game of the night in Houston on Saturday, and that's between 2 teams we never expected to get to the Final Four: Florida Atlantic, led by Dusty May, and San Diego State, led by the longtime assistant to Steve Fisher, and the guy who was probably one of the biggest reasons why the Fab Five came into existence, Brian Dutcher. So we got Florida Atlantic and SD and San Diego State. I think this is going to be a really, really close competitive game, but I think the difference in this game is going to be 3-point shooting of Florida Atlantic with Martin, with Davis, and with Boyd, and the inside game of Florida Atlantic. I think that's going to be the difference. I think Florida Atlantic is going to score more. I think they could. I trust Florida Atlantic more because they could score. They could score more points than San Diego State. I think it's going to be a close competitive game, but I'm going to take FAU to get to the national title game. But Justin, we all know Brian Dutcher was on the bench during the Fab 5 years at Michigan. Can he finally get back to a national championship game?
I'm with you. I got the Owls. Jalen Gaffney's revenge game, hopefully. That's going to be
interesting. It's going to be storylines either way if it's FAU. It's either the 2 Florida schools going at it or Jalen Gaffney's revenge game. Yeah, so, at least, very possible if that happens. There's at least one former UConn guy that only got to raise a banner that night. But,
Start with San Diego State first. Again, remember 2020, that team was, 30-2, I believe they were. That team was a 1 seed. Again, who knows what could have happened that March. That team could have been right there for Final Four. Like, it's good to kind of see Brian Dutcher and that team, because some of those guys were on that 2020 team. That now they got kind of a shot of redemption for what they could have had in 2020, but the pandemic took away from them. But, San Diego State, they're going to make you play their style. They're going to muck everything up. They're going to bring it down to you. And again, I feel like, I think I may have said this last week, they're like Tennessee. I feel like the physicality, they're, not as big, but they're the similar kind of style. They want to play physical. Alabama just didn't take any advantage of the mid-range opportunities that they gave them. They tried to go get a dunk and they would get swatted, or they just took a
yeah. I feel like that was a poorly coached game by Nate Oates there.
Yeah, that was. He's still I think beating one team that's better than 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. So just and that was that Arizona team when he was still at Buffalo. So again, he got definitely outcoached in that basketball game. And San Diego State's holding teams 18% from 3 this postseason, in the tournament. Like they've been great at just making you take tough shots. But this Florida Atlantic team, look, I know people are calling it Cinderella, but this ain't a Cinderella team. They were 35-3. Their metrics tell you that they're a really good basketball team.
Yeah, I remember before the tournament, I asked, who's the sleeper in the East region? You immediately said Florida Atlantic.
Oh, yeah, like this is a good basketball team. Like they were in the top 25, the final AP poll of the year. All 4 of these teams were. So, like, this is a good basketball team that this whole team besides Forrest could come back next year. Like, they all could. Like this could kind of be like, Butler 2010, 2011 make back-to-back Final Four runs. Totally could be. Dusty May's a heck of a coach. I don't, Indiana guy, so I think it puts a lot of pressure on Mike Woodson now because, Indiana fans want, would love to have Dusty May now next year. So, look, this Florida Atlantic team, they can knock down some shots. You mentioned it. They got so many options, and I feel like they have the depth too to kind of because San Diego State just wore down Creighton. Creighton didn't have the depth. They were just they were gassed kind of by the final 4 or 5 minutes of that basketball game. I think Florida Atlantic, they've just had guys, Boyd, Martin, Davis, and Golden down low, and I think Golden could kind of hang in there with Mensah down low, and I think Florida Atlantic finds a way to pull this thing out. It's a team that, again, Tennessee and Kansas State, you kind of felt both those teams were kind of pull away. Florida Atlantic would come down, take a tough shot, and find a way to win the, kind of get back into it. So it's a team that's got a bunch of sophomore, juniors, seniors, just some veteran guys. And I'm going to take the Owls. It's been a heck of a story for them. It's, and Conference USA, they're 17-1 in the postseason. They're going to get the NIT title because it's Nortex versus UAB, in the NIT championship game. Charlotte won the CBI. So Conference USA is looking for the three-peat in college basketball. And all 4 of those teams, unfortunately, will be in the American next year. So they're all leaving. So good for the American getting 4 quality teams. But I'll take the Owls. That run, it's been incredible. And I think they play Monday night.
Definitely good for the American. They're going to lose. They lost UConn. They're going to lose Cincinnati, and they're going to get these teams. So definitely good. Definitely good for the AAC there. But before we get to our national championship pick, the big question is seeing that these teams were all in the top 25. Do you think the committee did not do a good job seeding some of these teams?
UConn, yeah, I thought UConn was more of a 3. Their analytics were really good. They had that one poor stretch. I thought they were more of a 3. I thought even if they won the Big East tournament, they can maybe get to that 2 line. In Florida Atlantic and the bracket I had them as a 6 seed. I really did. That's a good. They beat Florida. They did lose Ole Miss, but they were not a 9 seed. Memphis wasn't an 8 seed. Those 2 teams were really good. Florida Atlantic, again, that shows you the committee that doesn't watch Florida Atlantic basketball.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, I think I saw 15 of their regular season games, something like that.
Wow.
I loved watching them. I loved watching that team play. I watched a ton of them during the regular season. San Diego State, they were very up and down. I thought they looked really good in Maui. I know they had some injury concerns, and then some games they just could not figure it out scoring wise, and they kind of struggled. I thought they could have. I thought the 5 line was good for them. Miami, I thought was good on the 5 line. The one big one was, as I mentioned, Florida Atlantic. I thought they were more of a 6 seed, and that's why I don't think they're a Cinderella because you don't really think a 6 seed's a Cinderella story, and that this team really shouldn't be, this it's a heck of a run they've been on, but like that, it's a good basketball team. Like, I'm surprised they've gone all the way here, but like part of me is like, it's a good basketball team. They just know how to win they just know how to win games.
Absolutely. So we both have Florida Atlantic and UConn in the championship game. Justin, I'll let you go first. Who between those two, do you think UConn wins that 5th national title against Florida Atlantic on Monday night?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they find a way. For Atlantic, they're going to have the guards that could be able to kind of give them a little bit of a challenge. I feel like, defensively, they'll give them some problems, but I think it's a team that, they knock down their shots early. I think, they'd have a somewhat of a problem, maybe trying to slow down Jordan Hawkins. And, when you think about it too, like Gaffney's, coming off the bench for him, like Gaffney wasn't a great player at UConn, like this UConn team's got a lot of talent. I feel like they should be able to knock them off. Sonogo, be interesting because Florida Atlantic's got obviously a good, big and golden. But I just think UConn's got too much talent for him. And especially if they somehow blow out Miami, I think the biggest thing is how do they kind of come back down to earth and kind of, not have like, okay, like now we get Florida Atlantic, like, this thing's kind of, and you just kind of, you kind of maybe just take advantage of them. You kind of don't take them seriously enough, and maybe they find a way to upset you. But that may be my biggest worry in this one. But look, for Atlantic in that game, we'd be playing with house money. Like there's win or lose, you broke major expectations. So that's kind of the one worry. But yeah, I think UConn will find a way to win the national championship.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got UConn. I got UConn winning their 5th national title, beating Florida Atlantic on Monday night, and I got Dan Hurley. This will be the first title for the Hurley brothers. I mean, pretty obvious because I don't think any of the Hurley brothers, Bobby's even gotten close to this far. But yeah, I think it'll be the first title for the Hurley brothers, and not first national title overall. Because I know Hurley won 2 his brother won 2 as a player, but I think Danny gets his first national title on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, again, I think for Danny it'd be great because, again, he's been overshadowed his whole life. His father was a Hall of Famer. His brother, he quit basketball at Seton Hall his sophomore, junior year because all Seton Hall fans booed him because they thought he was going to be Bobby. He wasn't. Like, he's been overshadowed. So, yeah, it'd be really cool for him to kind of be able to kind of host that title. I think it'd be great for him. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think, he's, the basketball royalty family, and I think he gets a national championship on hopefully on Monday night.
Yeah, let's hope he does, and it should be interesting to see what happens in the Final Four. But we are going to shift our attention over to the NBA, and tonight Kevin Durant is back for the Suns. He's back there. They face the Timberwolves tonight. And I think this is very important that he's going to play in these last 7 games. I think it's very important for this Suns team is going to play in these last 7 games because they could work out their chemistry. They could work out their chemistry issues before they get to the playoffs. And I think this really helps them in terms of the postseason. They want to work out something. This is the time to work out these chemistry issues because it looks like they'll be like the 4 or 5 seed. But because there's no way they're going to be able. I don't give even if they run the table. I think there's no way they get up to the 3 seed. There's no way they get up. There's no way they get up to your Kings or the Grizzlies. So I think this is a very important time for the Suns to get this chemistry going before the postseason. Because I think if this team is playing well in these last couple games going into the playoffs, I think there's a very, very good chance this Suns team is going to get to the finals. Because just look at the team: Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. I think if this team is playing well going into the postseason, I think it's really good. It's really going to help them going. If they're playing well at the end of the regular season, it's really going to help them going into the postseason.
Yeah, it's absolutely will. I'm with you. I think they'll be on the 4-5 line. I don't want them as a 6 seed. I don't.
Oh, I don't want to see that. You're going to get your teams get swept
yeah.
if they got to play them in the first round.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that team knocking them off. So yeah, I hope they stay at that 4 line. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the chemistry is going to help big time, and just for KD to kind of get back and just kind of play a couple games is going to be huge for him. Just to hopefully get him in rhythm going into the postseason. So yeah, with Booker, Paul, Durant, Ayton, they still got that team is definitely the favorite going into the playoffs. It's a dangerous team. And if it all can kind of come together here the next kind of week and a half before the season ends, the Suns are going to be looking in really good shape. And I feel bad for the Nuggets. All they worked for to get that 1 seed, and you may have to play KD in the second round.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on both players. Say the Suns play the Nuggets in that second round, a lot of pressure on KD, and there's going to be a ton of pressure on Jokic, a ton of pressure on both those two guys in that second round if they play each other.
Yeah, there absolutely would. Joker look like he may get a search rate MVP, and like this is in another incredible year. But yeah, there'd be a ton of pressure for that Nuggets team to finally break through, and for Durant, as well, a ton of pressure for him to kind of get another title because everybody kind of knows the story with Golden State and what happened in Brooklyn. So yeah, there'd be a lot of pressure on those two big superstars.
Absolutely. So going from one superstar to another, LeBron James came back for the Lakers on Sunday. They lost to the Bulls, 118-108. They play the Bulls again tonight in Chicago. And the big question for the Lakers is can they avoid the play-in tournament with LeBron James back? And for me, looking at their schedule, in Chicago, in Minnesota, that's going to be a tough one. In Houston, they should win. In Utah, they should win. Clippers, that's going to be tough. Phoenix, I think they go 4-3 in their last 7 games, and I don't think they avoid the play-in tournament. I think they got to play in the play-in tournament again. This for them. It would be the third consecutive. No, not the third. It would.
Yeah, third. Yeah.
No, third time
they were in the play.
Third time in 4 years they'd be in the play-in tournament because they missed it last year.
They did miss it.
And they were it'd be the second time in 3 years they were in the play-in tournament because they missed it. They missed it last year. They played in it 2 years ago against the Warriors and they won one. So yes, this would be the second time in 3 years they'd be in the play-in tournament, and I don't think they're going to be able to avoid it because of the schedule they have. But it does help LeBron. It does help them with LeBron back because I think they're definitely going to get into the play-in tournament.
Yeah, they're going to get in. They played pretty well without him. I was very surprised to see. I know Austin Reeves has really stepped up for him. Yeah, I think it's to be a little bit too tough for him to get over that hump to the 6th seed. I would love to see the Lakers as the 6th seed. I would love to knock them off in the first round because I know before LeBron got hurt, they were eyeing the 6th seed because they're like, we're going to knock off the Kings, and that's the matchup they wanted. So part of me really wants to see that, and just because we played well against Lakers this year, and I don't, but I just think it'll be too. Yeah, I just think it may be a little. They're right there, but the Warriors are kind of starting to play well. I just think it'll be. You got to pass, the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to do that because I'm with you. I think they go 4-3 or 3-4, and that's not going to be enough to pass them. So yeah, I'm with you. They're probably going to be stuck in the play-in tournament, but they'll be in it.
Yes, I agree. Now, our last NBA topic is about the team that is completely struggling. I know they won on Monday night, but they have really been struggling. That's the Mavericks. And the big question is, right now they're tied with Oklahoma City for that last spot in the play-in tournament. Who would have thought it after they made this acquisition? But who is to blame the most for the Mavs struggles? And I'm definitely saying, I think it's pretty obvious. I know people are going to try to defend them and everything, but I think it's pretty obvious. It's Kyrie Irving. It's Kyrie Irving because he came there to make that team a title contender. The biggest issue with Luka over the last 2 years is, he didn't have that good of a number two. They traded for Kyrie Irving to be that number 2, and he has failed to be that. They are 4-8 playing together, Luka and Kyrie, 4-8. And I'm sorry, I know people want to blame Luka. Luka has carried that team for the last 2 years. He's one of the top players in the sport. You look at Kyrie Irving's history, ever since he's left LeBron. I mean, in Boston, he held Tatum and Jaylen Brown back. We all know what happened with the Nets, that disaster in Brooklyn. And then here, it's been an absolute mess for Kyrie ever since he wanted to leave LeBron, and that has continued. I know people want to make excuses for him, blame Cuban, blame the GM, blame Luka. No. For me, Kyrie Irving is to blame for these Mavs struggles.
Yeah, Kyrie is, and I think for majority of it, it's Kyrie. I'd put a little bit on Luka, like his comments, like basketball's not fun anymore now. I think that's probably
but why is it not
Kyrie.
Fun? Because you're playing with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, that, and then the maturity stuff is screaming at the refs too. Like that's got to stop a little bit too. Like that's kind of getting a little bit too much. Like he's a whiner, and again, that's not good either. Like so, a little bit, and then there's no depth either on this team. There's zero depth outside of Luka and Kyrie Irving. Like there's just not. Like they're really missing Jalen Brunson, and obviously you're a Knicks fan. You've seen the impact that Jalen Brunson's had on that Knicks team.
Yep,
they've really missed him. This year as well. So, but majority of it's on Kyrie, and again, it's not shocking I didn't think those two would get along. That just seems like an oil and vinegar type or water and vinegar, whatever that saying is. It just did that mix that it just didn't seem like that would be a good fit for him. And it hasn't. Yeah, this team has absolutely imploded lately. Again, I remember watching their first game together with playing the Kings. It's like they're offensively, those two they couldn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, man, it's they may be a challenge, but after that, they really have not played well whatsoever. And how do you lose back-to-back games with Charlotte Hornets?
That's inexcusable. That is flat out inexcusable.
Yeah, and I don't think this team's making the play in. I just, you got the Sixers tonight on the road. You got the Heat who are still battling. You got the Hawks who are battling. Then you end with the Kings. They could probably beat the Kings. Bulls at home and Spurs at home. You'd think would be a win. Maybe they get in there, but I just don't see it. I'm like, wasn't it what night was it? Luka's just like, I'm not having fun anymore. Or
Friday night it was Friday.
Yeah, like again, I don't see this team. If Luka, just doesn't seem like they're into it right now, and I don't think that's a recipe for trying to get back into this thing.
They're not, and you talked about the fit. Two ball dominant players like Kyrie and Luka. But the thing is it's up to Kyrie to adjust his game to make the team better. And this has happened throughout the last 6 years of his career. He clearly didn't want to do that. That's why I put the blame on him, because Luka is a better player than you. He means more to that team than you. You came in to be when we say Batman and Robin, you came in to be the Robin, not Batman. You were the number 2 guy. You, just like you were when you played with LeBron James. You're the number 2. You follow what Luka wants you to do. Don't not play your own game. The problem is he's been playing too much of his own game, and that's why this thing has failed. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, the ball dominant point. It just those two just don't. And that's Kyrie's problem. It's his ego. He's got to feed his ego, and he ain't giving up. Again, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan in the world, but again, saying that you did not enjoy playing with LeBron is the biggest mistake you could have made in your career. How do you not enjoy playing with LeBron? That's impossible.
I don't know. And from right there on, you just tell, like, he's not going to be able to get along with a lot of these guys. He's just not. And he hasn't. Yep. And Durant, I've said it many times, biggest mistake he ever made was teaming up with Kyrie Irving. I don't know what went into his mind about that. I know they were friends beforehand, but man, that was a big mistake on his part. And Kyrie just hasn't worked out here. Not really surprised. And be a long off season for Mavs fans, because I know there was some excitement when they got Kyrie Irving, but it's just, this ain't it. That relationship it ain't working. I don't think it's turning around anytime soon. Yeah, and for Durant, it wasted 3 years of his life. It wasted 3 years of his life teaming up with Kyrie Irving, and he finally realized this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Yeah. Let me get out. Let me get out of Brooklyn. Yeah. It was 3 years way too late, and it's definitely, we talked about it. Definitely, I think tarnished his career a little bit, and it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you play with Kyrie Irving and you let him kind of do whatever he wants to, and that's exactly kind of what he's doing in Dallas. Yep, absolutely. So we're going to wrap up talking about one of the biggest women's basketball games. I'm not going to say this year. I think this is one of the biggest women's basketball games in a really, really long time on Friday night. I think this is one of the biggest women's basketball games since UConn and Tennessee played against each other. That's how huge this is, because you got right now the best team over the last 3 years. You got the best team in college basketball in South Carolina. I mean, probably since 2017, because UConn hasn't won a title since 2016. So really, since 2017, this has been the best team in college basketball, facing one of the greatest players I think I've seen in college basketball since Breanna Stewart, or you can even go further back, maybe even Sue Bird or Maya Moore. Caitlin Clark is absolutely amazing. She might be one of the best women's basketball players I've ever seen. A 40-point triple-double against Louisville, and you saw the numbers, the rating for the game against Louisville on Sunday night. That game got higher ratings than any NBA game. I'm telling you, this is a humongous women's basketball game on Friday night, and I think this is going to be a really, really good game. But I got to take the better team in South Carolina. I can't go against Dawn Staley. They've been the best team since 2017, but Caitlin Clark's not going to go down without a fight, and I think she's going to have I think they're going to contain her a little bit, but I think she's going to have a really good game. I think the game's going to be, within single digits, but I do think South Carolina is going to return back to the national championship game. But this is the most excited I've been to watch a women's basketball game in over 15 years. Yeah, it's been a while, especially outside of kind of UConn women's, it's just, that's like you kind of really elevated, I think, women's basketball just for what they've done. Like it brought a lot more parity to the sport, which has been great. And yeah, this matchup should be a really good one. Yeah, Caitlin Carr, she just, she makes her whole team better around her. Again, with the 10 rebounds, she still leads the country in assists. She's better. She's been a little bit better, I feel like, efficiency-wise this year than she has maybe her first couple years. But yeah, she can just impact the games in so many different ways. And yeah, I just, I think she's incredible. She's one of the better, women's basketball players we've seen in a while. Sabrina Ionescu was up there too, but yeah, like with Brianna.
Yeah, she would have won a title if it wasn't for the COVID year.
Yeah, definitely. I think she would have, too. But yeah, there's been a lot of good ones over the years, and yeah, Caitlin Carr's definitely been kind of the next really good one. She's really fun to watch, and yeah, I think South Carolina's a little bit better than them. Like Iowa women's basketball is like their men's team. Like they're really good offensively, but they just can't get any stops. And again, I think Aaliyah Boston we'll have a field day down low. And yeah, hopefully this is a good close game. But yeah, it was great to see the rating. Yeah, it got 2.5 million. Like, that's great for women's college basketball. It's good for the sport. But yeah, I just think South Carolina's got a little bit too much talent for the Hawkeyes.
Yes, I agree. But it should be a very, very exciting. It should be a very, very exciting game on Friday night. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Sports Talk with R&J. But we're going to be back in about 5 minutes doing our Major League Baseball season preview. So make sure you tune in for that.
Jones on first down, wide open. It's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Vince 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.